Taking the convo to high levels. Comment, like, and subscribe if you're enjoying Durable Minds Radio.
Yeah, we can still talk about this law, man. I just really wanted to touch on, man, understand how the news media be pushing that pimp word out there to gentlemen that are not, never did no pimping. And we have to keep reiterating that. So when you talk to individuals or whatever, let these people know that the media doesn't necessarily know what they're doing. They just would like to call anybody a pimp just to make it drama, right? Just to get more views and more people to watch, right? But we got to shine a light that there's a big difference, right? Okay, let me see. I guess you don't want to come up. You ain't trying to come up, Good Money Don? You ain't trying to come up, Good Money Don? Damn, bro. Why you not trying to come up, bruh? Good Money Don. Come on up here, man. You hear me? Come on up here. Alright, he don't want to come up. Let's put some questions. Be right back. Ah, but you scary Larry. You scary Larry, bro. You scary Larry. Now you gotta understand, man. You guys gotta understand the difference from a pimp and a human trafficker, right? The difference from a pimp and a sex trafficker. For first, you got the human trafficking, right? And human trafficking is just a big umbrella, right? Human trafficking is the big umbrella, meaning the person is just being trafficked. They might not be doing those sexual activities, but they might just be in traffic, right? State to state, county to county. Then you got sex trafficking, where this person is being, forced and moved, right? Force, fraud, or coercion, right? And it's very big, with minors, right? You gotta understand, when it comes to pimping, there's no minors involved with that, right? That's why a lot of these cats, they'll have the news, the media, they'll push out pimp this and pimp that. And then when you go and look at their charges, they don't have no pimp charges. They got sex trafficking charges. They have human trafficking charges. They don't have pimp charges. Why? Because they wasn't doing no pimping. All of these big people that they put on the news, look at their charges. Now, some of them, they were, and they was just moving reckless, right? To where now they might get the pimping charge and they're going to get all the other charges, right? Because that's what it does, right? Now, when it comes to pimping, it's more of managing, right? It's more of profiting, right? That's the difference. It's not about coercing or forcing, or manipulating. No, the pimping is more of the managing and the profiting, right? That's where that comes in. The pandering comes in with the encouraging. You know what I'm saying? All of those things is what pimping and pandering by law is the charge of, right? Now, coercing can get in place with that, right? Keeping the prostitute in places, and then you could get money laundering, right? So where, when you get in them little stings, if somebody send you some money and then you trying to get it in somebody else's name or whatever the case may be, that all comes into the money laundering case, right? You get what I'm saying? I wanted Brett to come up here, but he didn't want to come up here. So if I send you an invite, that don't mean leave the live. That just mean come on up and let's keep it live. You did? One, come on up. One spice. Come up, man. Let me see, bruh. Let me see. Bruh left. Bruh left. He had a good question. We wanted to talk about it, but he left. He left. And it's all good. Let me see. It's all good. What is on y'all mind this evening? What is on y'all mind this evening, y'all? Huh? What is on y'all mind? Look, the key takeaways, man, is most traffickers are criminals. That's why I'm not defending the gentleman. Listen, if you doing shit and you dealing with kids and you doing stuff where you forcing people to do things and you're keeping them from their will, you for sure is a trafficker. Human trafficker, sex, whatever. I'm all for that, right? But see, all pimps are not traffickers. You get what I'm saying? And that's the case. no pimp is a trafficker, right? And the media will label the pimping plus money, and then they would think it's trafficking because there's money involved. When reality is, it's not. You get what I'm saying? There was no forcing going on. There was no kids involved. So when they have these gentlemen that do be having them kids involved and this involved, and then they want to just slide in, right? They want to slide in and say, oh, he's this what did it say? Circus City pimp. Like, come on, man. That's unnecessary. That is very, very unnecessary to do. But they like to do it. They like to do it, right? And I don't understand, but they're gonna keep doing it, right? They will keep doing it. My shit started scrolling. What was that? Y'all seen that? I had it on a picture and it just started scrolling up. Was it a video or was it a picture? The hell? Oh, maybe I put the video. Oh, I did pick the video. I'm like, what the heck? There we go. That's the picture. But yeah, they will do that. And why do they do that? Like I said, the media, man, they want to, better yet, how do we stop this, right? And I said, man, this is why I jump on lives. Like, I like talking about topics of the game, and we could deep dive in that. But I really, really like shining a light on this type of shit. I really, really like pushing to change the narrative of what the media pushes with the pimp man. This is the real passion I have for doing these broadcasts, is to highlight the narrative, the true narrative of the pimp and hoe community, the true narrative of this culture, right? To where now they will get an understanding and put right here a human trafficker or a sex trafficker. They don't have to put that pimp word in there. Get what I'm saying? Because he's never done no pimping. He doesn't even have a pimp charge. You know what I'm saying? But because it's females involved and there's money involved, they want to call him some type of pimp. So we have to change that narrative. We got to push because it's going to keep happening. I have a feeling it's going to get more normal and normal and normal as these years go. And if it doesn't come from the community, right, if the community doesn't teach the culture and push the line, then it's not going to come from nowhere. You get what I'm saying? And another thing we have to stop doing is we have to stop glorifying the chaos publicly, right? And that's why I always be pushing at all these game pages and all these gentlemen that be doing this and doing that. We have to stop glorifying the chaos publicly. Because when you glorify the chaos, the masses see that. The media outlets see that. The flash, the drama, exploiting energy, what I mean? Toxic power dynamics. All of that type of stuff is evidence for reporters, right? To feed into, to keep pushing that same narrative of putting that pimp in a negative frame, so society keeps buying into it. You get what I'm saying? And this is why you have to bring scholarship when you come to this, right? Structures and boundaries, right? You have to have that type of stuff, right? You know what I mean? You also need to understand the legal language. You got to understand the legal language, right? Not the street language. We got the street language now. We understand the street language. You got to understand the legal language, right? Got to understand what's the human trafficker. You got to understand what a sex trafficker is. You got to understand how they can get charged with that. Got to understand how the laws think the pimping is, the pandering, the temp of pandering. All of these things related, right? So when you showcase and when you're able to speak it, you can speak and their ears can understand what you're trying to say instead of just speaking in the street knowledge way. You know what I'm saying? You have to call out the mislabeling. Have to call it out. And I would say publicly. But when doing it, don't be, drama, don't bring emotion, don't bring mad, bring scholarship. Bring it into an educational format, right? You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, right? Just give your point of view out there in a scholarly way, right? When doing that, that's how you're going to separate, the exploiting and the leadership. And that's what I kind of try to showcase with my page, because you got a lot of game pages, and what they do These niggas is panhandling, right? They trying to do anything, right? And what, even if they panhandling a female, the news media is gonna call it a pimp. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna have to come correct that shit. We gonna have to come change that narrative. We gonna come have to educate those that don't understand. You get what I'm saying? And let them know the real, right? And that's gonna separate the leadership from the exploitation, because it's a lot of people out here that's trying to do their thing and they saying they part of the lifestyle and they trying to speak this and speak that, but they're speaking from a spirit of exploiting the game just for some views and some content. They're not speaking from a leadership format and trying to, you know, correct the narrative that, you know, society has put on this culture. You know what I'm saying? They have to come correctly, you know, and it's going to take the insiders to educate publicly, right? The insiders, ones that came from the grassroots, the ones that's still in the game, the insiders to, you know, educate publicly, right? It's going to take the culture, our community to show more structure and less chaos. The chaos, the circus shit, that shit's got to die down. It's time to show structure in this game, right? We can't worry about false pimping with the Nancy. We for sure not gonna, you know, miss no sleep over the false pimping. What we are doing is we're talking to the higher up to let them understand. Stop comparing that false pimping to us, right? Erase that title. Ain't no such thing as false pimping. If it's false pimping, you don't put pimping up there. You get what I'm saying? If it's false pimping, there's no need to put pimp up there. You get what I'm saying? Call it for what it is. Educate the audience, right? People speak facts. People are speaking facts, not myths. You get what I'm saying? Hold on. Good game, Goldie. Won't come up. That nigga looked like he had a stroke. It's okay. I'm not even worried about the gentleman. I'm more worried about what they put under the gentleman. What's going on, gang?
Man, I've been saying this for a long time, especially in these lives, man. So I feel like everything you saying is my point on literally what you saying, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a lot of these folks, man, they getting on these YouTube channels and shit, man, and I ain't making it about this at all, but it's coming back to a point. They get on these YouTube channels, man, and a lot of these retired pimps and pimp wannabes, life coaches, all these type cats, man, they have game within what they're saying, but
Right.
everything they're saying isn't game. So
Right.
when you don't have a level of interpretation and understanding, because this isn't a passion of yours, this is another notch under your belt, this is another hustle to you, you don't have that actual, like you say, love or coming from the grassroots of it, you're looking at everything they're saying and you're like, oh shit, I can do that. That ain't hard. I know gullible bitches. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. So you're taking all of that shit in, not knowing that it is a whole dark side to this shit.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because when you actually put in actual years to this shit, it's niggas like, I ain't gonna, let me not say niggas. It's men like us that, I can't say us because I can't speak for y'all, but speaking like for myself, I know other people such as my, like, excuse me. I know other people such as myself that has went through certain situations where females have passed on. You know what I'm saying? Females have been killed. You know what I'm saying? Females then went missing in certain people's situations. They don't highlight that type of shit. They just want to talk about the actual money of the situation, the glory part of the shit. But like I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's a whole another side to this situation that people really don't know about because you don't really get into it.
And that's what you basically what you're saying is most people don't know about it because the most people that know about it don't want to highlight it, don't want to talk about it because it's boring, right? So instead of talking about, look, man, you gotta look how, you know, the media is pointing out everybody's a pimp, so you gotta take that and understand you got a target on your back. They don't want to say that. They want to say how player it is to get a girl to do this, and I got the girl to do that because that's gonna get an audience, right? Now, like
Right,
you said, a lot of them when they do that, they are dropping jewels, and it is, you know, for the ears that been through the same experience they're saying, because they might have had a little grassroots experience or whatnot, but they're not even realizing that they're exploiting the game because of the ears that they're hearing. they're not talking to the ears, like the square ears. They're just trying to make it seem good. Everything's good. And like you
Right.
said, if you're just talking about the up and up, then you're exploiting the game, by default.
Right. It
You
looked
know.
beautiful from what they saying. It looks marvelous from what they saying. Man, I had a bitch that looked at me and smelled my Ishi Miyagi, and the bitch put it in my hand, 10 bands. And you're not knowing that it took that motherfucker about a good 30, 35 days because she didn't have the 10 bands at first. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're just summing up the story and making it seem like, oh, this shit took place in a day. It took place in 2 hours. Man, in 2 hours, the bitch socked 10 bands to my pocket. It don't
Mm-hmm.
it don't
Mm-hmm.
logically make sense. You know what I'm saying? So they're taking
And,
that and they're applying like, okay, so this bitch don't make 10 bands in 2 hours to put it in my hand. She ain't no hoe. And now she's a maggot. Now she's this, now she that. Now you stepping on the horn because you didn't got
and
some damn YouTube education out here. You know what I'm saying?
right, they'll go on platforms and yeah, the young gentlemen that are trying to emulate the game, they're gonna take that and get motivated and pumped up and do all kinds of shit wrong. But it's also other people that be watching that and hearing that. And it be, the news media, the people that want to create content creators and reporters and shit like that, to where now that frames the pimp in a frame and a mindset of them. So now when they go back to their job and they got some case that's similar to what the supposedly pimp man they say in the podcast is saying, because the pimp man in the podcast left out all the real, they don't know the difference. You know what I'm saying? So they'll hear, oh yeah, you got to take the girl state to state, get the money, man. Bail them out. They're gonna hear all of that, right? And then they'll see a dude like the gentleman I just brought up here catch a similar case, and they're gonna be like, oh, he was a pimp. And it's like, because if
Right,
the pimp man was on that broadcast or that podcast and actually went into detail of the good and the bad, then whoever the reporter or whatever was listening, they will get a better understanding of the true essence of the pimp man. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So should a pimp tell all the bad nights instead? Hell yeah.
I feel like this right here. In order for it to have took wings to make this everybody think they can do it type lifestyle, somebody had to glorify the good. So if you're gonna glorify the good, you might as well glorify the bad as well. We like to talk sports and bring analogies up. Back then, nobody gave a fuck about concussions. 3, 4 suicides later, a man on murder trial. Now everybody is concussion friendly. Now they're talking about the bad in football. Now flag football is a Pro Bowl. Like everything now is a choice now. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to give them the choice on or present options on how this game can give what it can do for you and what it gives you, you also have to present them the choices and the views on the bad as well. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
don't even talk about them going to jail. They say, "Oh man, I had to go lay down some time, man, because when you really dedicated to this game, man, that's something that's that's what come with it." And in actuality, it's not. Everybody
Right.
knows a 50-50 risk when you jump in the streets, regardless on whatever you're doing in the streets. But it's all about the choices and how you move as a person. You feel what I'm saying? So if you can't give your personal views and your personal experiences, why are you giving your personal success? You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Exactly, because it's not gonna add up. And no, for sure pimping is not easy. And that's why I try to touch the grassroots, because we all know pimping ain't easy in the grassroots. And a lot of these dudes, they get blinded even if they came from the grassroots. I don't know, man. I see a lot of fake dudes, right? The ones that are really come from the grassroots and they do their little podcast and YouTube thing, I think they got their little lane and they do it cool. You feel me? I really be touching on the ones that really ain't in the lifestyle, but they be talking like they in the lifestyle. You know what I mean? And when they do that, they just put a bad stigma on the game to where other people can pick up that, and it trickles all the way down to where anybody that gets a charge that has a female and some money, they gonna put pimp in the title. You know what I mean?
Right,
And to where now I feel like the ones that, okay, look, we know the pimps on the internet, we understand it's already there, right?
right,
Now it's like, okay, if you are going to be on the internet, or if you're thinking about it, your best approach is to come in an educational, scholarly way, right? Instead of just coming in the example you gave, where they like, yeah, man, I went to jail, have to sit down, that's what the pimp got to do when he pimping. They just coming in in the exploiting mindset, because they don't. I
Right.
don't think they understand that's exploiting the game. I think they're thinking, oh yeah, I gotta make it sound good, right? So I
Right.
don't think that you're doing it purposely. I just think they're not understanding how that jeopardizes the culture totality. You know, what happens to when you don't take in less than in the P circle? What? Come on up here. Let me see if we can get you up here, LV. I think you've been up here before. I think LV, that's the one that was from Louisiana, right?
I think so. But he been in Vegas or he living in
Right. He
Vegas or something
said,
like that.
listen to the little Pimp C and a couple of yimps. Okay, what was you trying to ask,
Man, you
LV?
hear me? They be on that what's
Nah, I
that
was
man name?
saying
That
that you
PT
feel me.
Moolah, man.
What happened to the P circle? What happened to we don't talk unless they in the P circle anyway? You dig what I'm saying? Like I don't really believe in I'm supposed to go on there and talking too much anyway, giving them the wrong views and the wrong outlooks and like
So
he
I
was
got a
saying in the
question.
comments, like they be kind of confused off
I got a
like cause
question for you,
to me
man.
that's called free game. Yeah,
So first of all, how old are you before I answer that question?
I'm 30.
Okay, so back in the day, man, we wasn't on this. Wasn't nobody on this type of shit, giving wrong shit.
That's my
Now
whole point.
everybody listening to wrong shit. So why is there a peace circle? Why is there a secret? It's a secret society amongst a bullshit culture.
I wouldn't
You're
say
not
that
gonna
because
see.
it's
You're not
people
gonna
that's
see no
peer to
real
it.
pimping. You ain't gonna get the opportunity to really get in the graces of real pimping unless you in the places that real pimping gonna be. Real
Is where the
pimping,
P circle would be.
exactly. So that's why I'm
Exactly. Yeah,
that's why I'm answering your question. So it's hard to find and get access to some real pimping, bro. That's what I'm saying.
I get it.
So
Exactly.
real pimp circles do exist, but at the
I know.
same time, they're not accessible to the culture.
Yeah, we not gonna let them in. And that's the
So,
reason for that. But yeah, I get it. That's my point I was trying to make. The same shit you saying. Exactly.
oh, I thought you was asking a question. That's why I was
This
answering
this
Now
like
I was
how
that.
asking more for the for the chat. But I understand it, yeah.
this is how I look at it, man. When it comes to the P circle, it's gonna be a lot of circles, right? And within them circles, all them gentlemen are gonna think they pimps. And now just that pimp circle alone, they're gonna be able to vouch for each other. And reality is they might never did no pimping. So that's how a lot of pimp circles are being created in 2026, right? To
Okay.
where, oh yeah, we gotta keep it the secret society in the pimp circle, this and that. But reality is, most of them individuals that might come in that pimp circle ain't even taking their lifestyle seriously no more. You know, and I look at it like this, man. We could talk about how the lifestyle's supposed to go and how the pimps this and pimps that. And what I try to do is I just try to shine light on how the world views the community and how you should, understand that and move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you
Yeah.
want to get in pimp circles, you could get in pimp circles, man. But a lot of these cats that's gonna be in them circles, you might be dropping jewels and they don't know what to do with it. So now you just wasting words. You know what I
That's
mean?
why
And
you
now
gotta
you
know
just
about it. Like back in the day it was solidified. You know what I mean? Like you had to have something that solidified your game. You dig what I'm saying? Like we had to see that. We had to know for sure that yeah, you fought for you even got in that circle. You hear what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I
it's
mean
a
I
whole
get
nother
it.
culture.
But
It's a
that's
whole
a yeah,
nother. I
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
a whole nother
And then let me
generation.
ask you this though. I did want to always ask you this. Like so, and this is for the chat too. Like so when you some game, right? And you in the game and you know how we always talk about back in the day to right now. So do you believe truly and strongly that it's evolving within the P with the game? P has to evolve, I feel. And a lot of times that's why a lot of these younger P's be confused because they don't feel like they trying to still copy what they think or what they hear a P did back in 1998 or you know what I'm saying 19 the early 2000s. You
Well,
feel me?
look
Back when back
now when you say evolve, give us some contents of evolving. Like what should the pimp evolve? What, like, give us an example.
his whole game should evolve every time he do it. It shouldn't never be nobody who has some accomplishments or has some defeats that didn't change what you was doing in order to win harder or go harder. You get what I'm saying? How could you be? It's just me. How could you be a certified P if you're not taking the time to really apply your pieces to the game so you could be playing chess and not checkers. You hear what I'm saying?
I get what you're
I feel
saying.
like, oh, go ahead, my bad.
No, I ain't gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
I feel like, as you said, to understand what you're saying, are you saying like the game itself is the game itself evolving? Or are you saying are P's evolving?
I mean, both evolves, but I'm talking about as the P, he has to evolve himself. He has to evolve to the game. All right, so I'm happy you put it that way. As the game evolves, right? As the game evolves and the game not necessarily changes, but the circumstances around us change, right? So I feel like a P has to evolve to that. Just like what he's saying on here in the first place. You have to be educated. That's basically what I'm saying. How he telling everybody to be educated on both sides, on the legal side and on the street side. As you evolve, that's how you start to do that. That's called evolving, because you would just think that you only could talk on the street side. You have to evolve and be able to talk on the educational purpose. You know what I mean? On a higher level, intellectually, to actually be a key component to the game. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I
You
feel
got to know
like
how to
that's
play
what
every
Bear
part.
be saying when he tell these folks, these youngsters that don't know what's going on in the world, to go be men first.
Is that thank you? That's what you got to do in the first place. You got to be a
But
man
to
before you
answer
even
your
get in the
question
game. That's
though,
one of the first rules.
to answer your question, I feel like people's access to the game is evolving. So I don't feel like I feel like avenues are evolving for a pimp man, for someone that is actually of the lifestyle. Avenues are opening up as the game, quote unquote, is evolving. I don't believe the game is evolving. I believe people are leeching off of the game and want to be soldier boys out here and want to be the first to do shit.
I
So
understand that, right?
by
But
knocking
when
the
I
door
say
down, by faking, I feel like the avenues are opening up for stuff like this. Because if it wasn't for these fake podcast pimping, maybe Bear wouldn't have decided to make his live to
Right,
promote actual grassroots pimping. You see what I'm saying? So
right,
I feel like
yeah,
he's
and
kicking the door down by being fraudulent, but it's avenues evolving for a real
right.
game to get out there. So I don't believe the game is evolving. The
Because
game is the
this is
game.
but
that's the
that's my
number
point
one
of evolve
excuse.
right there, though.
Let
That's
me
evolving.
say this real quick. That's the number one thing you will hear a person that didn't come from the grassroots is like, oh man, the game is evolving. You gotta evolve with the game, because when they started to try to do this, they came in trying to do things differently because they knew they didn't come from the grassroots. But I do agree what you're saying. The game is gonna evolve, right? And adapt, or whatever you want to use. The catch is the pimping is going to understand that it's a young adults game. So just because it's a young adults game, one might think the game is evolving, when realistically it's just a younger generation that's dominating the lifestyle. So now they're trying to dibble and dabble and make things
When I
this
say
and that.
evolving, I mean come accustomed. I don't
Right,
mean to
right. I
interrupt
get
you,
what
but
you're
that's
saying. No,
that's
for
what I'm
sure, I get
saying.
what you're
Like,
saying.
you got to come accustomed to what's going on, and that's the same thing of what you just said in the concept of knowing how to talk on it, like basically knowing how to talk on the intellectual level and knowing how to talk in the streets. What I mean by evolve is a lot of people will be try to do the original. You know what I mean? Like you said, from the grassroots, and I understand that. I got the soil. I understand that, but as you grow in the game, right, and as you transition in the game, you gonna see, like you just said, all these young niggas. This is a young game in the first place. It's for younger. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like if they out and they doing it this way, we don't have to evolve to it. But you have to exactly what you're doing. You have to recognize it. You have to recognize it and know how to maneuver yourself out of the situation. That's still
So I have a
evolving to
question for
me.
you. Are you, since the game, I think we all can agree that in today's society that the game, quote unquote game, is being dominated by simp niggas and hoe hustlers. Can we all agree to that?
We all agree to that, and that's the whole
Okay,
point.
so
I'm
is
saying we
it
gotta watch
really,
that.
are you, hold on real quick. So is it really that you're evolving, or are you trying to stand out? You see
No,
what I'm
you're
saying?
evolving. No, you're not standing out. I feel like
How? If you're really some pimping amongst hoe hustlers and simps and scammers and wannabes, if you're really some pimping, are you standing out or are you evolving? Are you adapting to the
But
hoe
that's what,
hustler
when you
lifestyle?
say stand out, to me, when you saying stand out and evolving, that's the same thing. When you evolve, that means that you going higher than you not stuck in the same lane as them. You dig what I'm saying? They lost. Basically what I'm trying to say, let me put it another way because y'all not understand what I'm saying. I'm saying they lost, right? But you have to be, when you somebody that's from the old school coming into the new school, you have to understand that they lost. So you have to understand to not let that get in the midst of you or what you doing. A lot of these niggas who claim they from the grassroots are now trying to pimp like what they see now. And I feel like, I know y'all that say that's not really from the grassroots, but I know I've been in, the game is just watered down. That's what I'm trying to say, bro. The game is watered down, and you have to realize that in order to stay in the game. If that don't make
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying as an older dude that's still, you know what I'm saying, taking prize fights out here, what I'm saying is I have never adapted to their new game because to me the game is still the game. Now,
I
me
recognize it.
standing out is me continuing to live my life and do what I continuously do. I don't I seek more knowledge. So if you say that's evolving, okay, I can agree to that. But my knowledge that I seek that has nothing to do with trying to compete with hoe hustler scammers
I'm
and
not
want to be pimp
competing.
niggas.
I'm
I'm not.
recognizing them.
So I'm standing out by continuing to live my life and progress how or evolve, as you say, as I continue to keep doing that. You get what I'm coming? You get where I'm coming from, man?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying like you just gotta recognize it. Like I feel like if you don't recognize it, you don't see it, and you don't apply pressure towards it, that's when it'll come down like that. That's the reason why I'm saying it to you like that. Like it has to be a evolve because a lot of them would be not them because I'm not speaking on the hoe hustlers or the fakers. I'm not speaking on them. I was speaking on the P himself evolving. Like and as you go, like I said, your game evolves. I don't know if y'all both understand what I'm saying, but it's like I don't know how to put it. Like, all right, when you first start in the grassroots and you first start doing it, right? And let's say you got one, then you get two, then you get four. Then as you do that, you fuck up, you lose this one, you lose that one. That is you growing in the game. That's evolving your game. Like, is that not? I'm confused. Is that not evolving your game?
I mean, that's life lessons.
That's evolve.
That's
All right.
experience.
It's
So
more
I
than
mean, you're
experience
learning
because
from your experience,
it's
but I mean,
evolving.
I wouldn't
Hold on,
say
hold on. Let
I'm
me say
gonna.
this though. It's evolving once you go through the experience, right? And then you take the experience and you learn from it. It become an evolving moment because now you could climb higher. Now you can go to the next level of your game.
Yo, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, LV, amazing. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I just
you
gave
went
him a
out. What
chance
was
to
you
talk.
saying?
Nah, it cut out. I didn't hear that last part. Say that part again.
I said because it's evolving because it's evolving your game. Like when you go through one situation and you get to another situation and you learn from that situation, that's evolving. Because once you say that's an experience, right? So once you go through an experience, life experiences, and you accept, hold on, listen, you accept the life experience, right? You accept whatever mistake you made, whatever happened, because sometimes it don't be your fault, sometimes it do, but either way, you have to learn from it. Once you learn from it and you apply that pressure and you apply it to your situation like you're supposed to, that's called evolving because you're going to the next level of your game or whatever the situation may be. Basically, what I'm saying is these young hoe hustlers and all that shit can't evolve in the game because they don't have no game. That's what I'm getting at.
I get. So let me say this, sir. I get every point that you're making. I just feel like the word evolve is not the right word for what you're trying to say, is what I'm getting at. I don't believe that you have life experiences and now okay, let me put it like this. When you everybody know
What? Wait,
the
hold on.
butterflies and shit.
Who's
So
got the
when a
noise in the
butterfly,
background?
that sure is not me. That sure ain't me.
If when you done talking, if you gotta play it, just mute your camera so he could talk, and then when you want to say something, then unmute it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, oh, he muted it. You see the little mic? But
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, gang.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like I was saying, the little caterpillar to a butterfly. A caterpillar evolves into a butterfly, and then they're done. There's nothing else to do. You're just flapping in the wind, landing on damn flowers and plants and shit. So what I'm saying is, when you're evolved, you're done. Evolving, I don't really think that's. I think you're trying to say progressing. I think you're trying to say advancing. I think you're trying
all
to
right,
say
elevate.
educating, like learning from your mistakes. But like evolving, I don't believe that's the correct term for what you're saying. But I get what you're saying though.
And that's all I was saying too. We get what you're saying for sure, for sure. We all for that, you know. But like you say, whatever all these words we understand, right? It's just the catch is you know, you have to let something go to evolve. You know what I'm saying? So within evolving, what are we letting go?
because you can also evolve without going through life experience. You evolve in school. You going through kid shit. You're not going through nothing human, but I mean, nothing adult, but you're evolving. You get what I'm saying?
Nah, because even when you in school, some people won't evolve if they don't. All right, so like, let's say since you
That's
said
the
it's in
same
school,
thing as the
right?
game. Some people won't evolve. So I don't think you're you. That's what I'm saying.
No, that
Evolving.
was my whole point. That was my point, is what I'm saying. Like that was my point of what I'm saying. The whole hustlers and the fakers of what you saying, they can't evolve. That's the reason why I said a real somebody who come from the grassroots do evolve. But you're right, it's the wrong word. I say elevate. You know what I mean? I say, like you said, just learn from your life mistakes. I say that you got to learn from your situation and know how to go to the next situation with the right mindset and the right game. It's a new and fresh and improved game. That's really what I'm saying. Any gotta have new, fresh, and improved game. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I mean by evolve. And if you don't have that, and you be stuck on still trying to do the same thing you was
So
doing in
this is what you I
1992, or
get what you're saying. So
yeah,
so so you have to look. So if a pimp, let's say if he's a young dude and he's having a lot of mistakes. You know, he's taking a lot of L's through his lack of judgment. He can evolve from making them lacks of judgment and polish up that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But you if you're doing things accordingly and you know you don't have to change anything to evolve. Evolving means you're either changing your ego from being hella mean to being hella emotional. Like you're doing in those type of things. You know what I'm
that's not what
saying?
I mean. I mean evolving to the situation. Like, all right, how it used to be. Okay, okay. All right, look, how you used to be able to sit up. Okay, how you used to be able to sit some down, right? Versus how you can sit it down now is different.
That's
All right,
adjusting though. That's adjusting. That's just adjusting. You're
I
not
wouldn't
you're
say it's
not
adjusting to a
evolving. You're just
situation.
adjusting. Just because you're smart and you make adjustments doesn't necessarily mean you let anything go to evolve to something new. You just
And that's my
adjusting.
whole point. You have to let go of that's my point of new and fresh and improved game. That's what I keep
Okay,
saying,
so what is it
evolving.
that's what I asked. What is it that you let go?
You let go of the bullshit that you was doing before. Just like
What
you
was
said, you
that?
let
What
go
was
of
the
the bullshit.
bullshit? Give an example. Like, are you talking about the way you trap? Because I'm thinking it's
I'm
coming
talking
in
about
like
the
the
whole
way.
no, I'm talking about
Okay,
the
so do
whole
you still play the
experience, bro.
blade?
Huh?
Do you still play the blade,
We ain't gonna I
or
do
did you
everything.
evolve from playing the blade?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to get you. I knew that's what you was trying to say. So why do you think one has to let the blade go to evolve to something else? That's
No,
I
I
knew that's
said no,
what
no,
we
no,
was
no,
getting
no.
to.
I didn't say let the. I said let no, no, no. I said let go of the bullshit that you were doing before. What I mean by that is just like you used the example when you just said that he was making mistakes and having situations. Because sometimes in a game, when you come in the game, a person you can have the game but not know what to do with the game. Does that make sense? You could be born in it, bro, and have it and not know what to do with it.
Right, and you
And
would take you
you
would
gotta
take
go through it
L's.
in order to exactly. That's all I'm saying. Simple.
But
But going
I and
through it
I
is
get
life
that. I get
experience.
that, and that's
And that's
evolving
what you
because
said. When you said I used the wrong word, I'm agreeing with y'all. All right, wrong word.
no,
Wrong
I
word.
know. But why do you
Wrong word.
think evolving is one getting off the blade?
I don't think that.
So
That's
do
just how
you
you
look at
put
it
it.
like
I
levels or lanes?
no, I would see it as exactly levels, actually. Yeah, I would see it as levels to it. It's levels to the game, exactly.
Hold
So
on,
what's considered the
listen to
bottom
my
level to you
question.
then?
Listen to my question. So when we're talking about strippers and females in the strip club, females on the carpet, females on the blade, females freelancing, females on the lines, are
Carpet
these
play, all that.
levels? Or are these lanes?
No, those are lanes.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So what is
Yeah,
levels
those
to
are
you?
lanes.
So what are
When I say a
levels?
level, that means that you in one lane and you keep getting higher in that lane, which means in that lane you keep evolving. That's what I was trying to say. You letting
Okay,
go
so
of what you.
what is the top level? What is the top level hoe?
What is a top level hoe? I
Yes, you
mean, that
said
all
it's
depends
levels
on
in the lanes. So what is a top level? So what's a top level blade hoe in a blade lane?
a bitch who really, really down for the cause. I be shit, yes, Lord. She gonna
But
show
wouldn't
it.
that just be
This
a
nigga
bitch that's
said, "Let's
down for the
run."
game? What does that got to do with levels to like? I'm lost on that level shit.
Me too. That's why we're
I don't
trying to break
understand how
this
you can't. All right,
involved
let me
down.
explain it like this. Let me explain it like this, bruh. All right, so what'll be a low level hoe, right, on the blade? Since you putting it like that, I'm gonna give it to you. A female who will go out there, right, and it'll be on Instagram twerking and shaking ass and all that shit while you supposed to be working. Things of this nature is
So
what
I
I'm
got one
talking about.
question with that. So what if she got people that follow her that pull up to the blade for her? So she's
Most
shaking ass on the blade at showing that she on the blade so they can pull up on her.
Okay, let me go
Is
deeper
that a
into
low
it because
level
you
hoe
trying to.
too?
No, let me go deeper into it, buddy. I'm saying they be on there doing TikTok dances and shit like that. Not necessarily how a bitch would be on the blade to shake her ass for a trick to see. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about they be up there playing, bro. And that's what I'm trying to say about it.
Okay,
You know what
so
I'm saying?
so
Yeah,
that's a so he she had what I'm saying is that's a low level pimp, right? That's a low level pimping and low level hoeing in the blade, right? That's what you would call that, right? And then the
yeah,
high level is the ones that's, head down in pocket doing their shit, right?
yeah.
So how does one elevate from the low level to, because I think, and this is
Experience.
what you're saying, they have to drop their characteristics. They have to change to become that high level blade hoe, right? Now I was
Basically,
thinking you
like when
was
you break
talking
a
about
bitch and you build her back up.
they have to change lanes to become elevated. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, not necessarily because why would she have to change lanes from the blade to the carpet or to the next when she?
Well, that's what I thought you was referring to, but now that
Nah,
I
nah, nah,
get
nah.
what you're saying, it makes more sense of what you're saying, and that's why I was trying to get you to understand the definition of elevating means you have to let something go. So if she's out there doing these TikToks and doing all that, the moment she lets that go, she's evolved, not elevate, excuse me, she's evolved within her hoeing, within the next level of the blade hole. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's yeah. Okay, yeah. So I was using
But
the
the
wrong word once again. My fault.
Right, right. It's all good. But the pimp, yeah, he doesn't. If he's doing everything accordingly and he's growing naturally, that doesn't mean he necessarily, is worried about evolving. Right? He's more worried about adjusting. Okay, he got his shit going. He might tweak this a little bit, tweak that, but everything is maintaining. So he's constantly growing. You know what I mean? Because he knows how to adjust. He understands. He educates himself, and he might not ever educate himself. Right? And now he involved from not reading to reading. You get what I'm saying? Where you adding something on, doing something, switching something of the structure to where I get what you're saying. One can evolve if he was lacking in a lot of different things or just one different thing and he realizes it and he starts, changing them characteristics, then yeah, he's evolving as a man though. You know what I mean? Just man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that goes back to when you said you got to be a man first to even get in the game. So that's you know what I mean.
Well,
So
you could
yeah,
be a young man, right? Just because you're a man doesn't mean you're perfect and you don't make mistakes. You could be a young man, within being a man is taking it seriously within knowing how to be mature with dealing with a female and within life, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people get man and responsibilities like adult responsibilities confused. They think that's one and one.
Before you slide, press subscribe. Durable minds, radio, logic apply. Hit the button, elevate your grind. High level conversation. Durable minds.